fight card.
UFC 100.
Woo, making history.
Huge, huge. So usually we like to run down the list of fights and talk about, you know, basically the main card, but this time we really just can't do it. So we're gonna
too many points we need to bring up.
Yeah, so we're really just gonna get right into it, right to the top 3 fights, and we're gonna start first off, Bisping and Hendo.
Bisping and Hendo.
What do you think?
I don't know. This whole time I was thinking Bisping was gonna win, but I think I just changed my mind to Henderson.
Yeah.
I just think he has too many ways to win. I don't think Bisping's gonna be able to knock him out. I think Henderson can knock Bisping out.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna. I think if it goes to the ground, Henderson's wrestling is 100-fold what Bisping can bring to the table. And even though Bisping can be a submission fighter, he's not going to submit Henderson.
I don't know. I mean, I was behind Bisping for a long time. I really thought, you know, he could stand up and out kickbox Henderson. I think I was kind of underestimating the fact that Henderson can flat out fight. Yeah. You know, and not that I was underestimating him because I know he can fight, but I just was so hung up on Bisping. I think the bottom line is Henderson's stronger, he hits harder, he can stand up, he can go down, he can take you down, and he's gone the distance with great fighters. Yeah. So
I think Bisping will beat him with the footwork and will cut his angles, and he will pick him apart. But I think Henderson is going to take it to the ground as well as beat him standing up. It's going to be pretty even. I just think the way Bisping is going to win is with a decision, but I think Henderson.
I don't know. I think it'll probably end up going to a decision, but I think Henderson will just he'll do a little bit more and he'll get more points and he'll just have a little more control in the fight, and I think he'll just drag it out and get that win.
So as long as Henderson can control the fight, take it to the ground when he wants, beat him up, stay away from being picked apart on the feet, as long as he could really control the fight, I don't think Henderson will have a problem.
I think that's what the difference maker is going to be, is that when it comes down to it, if need be, he can take Bisping down, I think, at will, and I think that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. So, it's still
hard.
Man,
I want to take Bisping so bad. I'd love to see him win and move up the ladder at 185, but I don't know. I don't think he's really got it in him to beat Henderson, so I'm going to have to take Henderson just for the win.
I think Henderson is the better fighter. He's faced better people. He's way more legendary.
If we never played Bisping versus Henderson in the UFC game, and if you didn't beat my ass with Henderson like you did, I probably would have took Bisping, but Henderson's just got him.
Yeah, I like Henderson too. All right, in the next fight, we got George St. Pierre versus Thiago Alves.
We called this a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm happy
before it happened, so I'm glad. I mean, dog, I love George St. Pierre. But I think this is the guy he does not want to fight.
Yeah, definitely. Bigger, stronger, more
faster.
devastating.
He's faster. He's so much quicker.
It's funny because the whole time I've been pulling for Alves to finally get the title shot, and I knew as soon as he got it, I'd be voting for him. But up until like right now, it was kind of like, man.
It's tough. I mean, it's hard. Like, usually the reach comes into play when it comes to the stand-up. It's like, well, George St. Pierre is longer, and he really knows how to utilize that. But Thiago Alves is so damn explosive and so fast and so good with his hands and his knees. It's almost like the striking could be irrelevant, but the fact that GSP utilizes his just quick jabs so well.
He has that Superman punch and that long jab. And GSP is probably the smartest fighter in the UFC.
by far.
That scientific stuff he pulled out against BJ Penn, that was a whole different type of fighter.
We've talked to a couple guys, you know, going to see fights. We've talked to some guys about this fight, and everybody says, no, Thiago, our GSP is going to win for sure. And I always say, well, how's he going to do that? And they say he's going to do the same thing he always does. He's going to take him down, and he's going to pound him out. I think Thiago Alves might be too big and too strong for GSP to just take down and hold and manhandle like he does everybody else.
I think Thiago wins the stand-up battle. But the only thing I don't know is if he can go 5 rounds. I think George St. Pierre has everything on his side in that aspect. He's going to be able to go longer. He's going to be able to use all his energy for every round. I think Thiago might get wore out by the 3rd round.
And he might gas himself the way that he fights. When he comes with big strikes, big knees, and he's so explosive that catches up to you quick, and then you just don't have enough.
I just keep picturing GSP going in for one of his takedowns and Thiago hitting him with one of his knees. But George's takedowns are so good.
So they're perfect. They're perfect. I don't know. I mean, I think he'll be able to take him down. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to say because Thiago Alves, his takedown defense is great, but GSP's takedowns are
those cancel each other out.
Yeah, so it's hard
the thing is, I've seen George St. Pierre get beat before. I've seen him get
Yeah.
knocked out. I think it could happen again. I'm not a huge George St. Pierre fan. Let's mix it up. I'm gonna say Thiago's winning the fight.
Yeah. You made a good point the other day when we were talking about this before coming into filming. You said, I can't see Anderson Silva losing. I can't see Lyoto Machida losing. I can see GSP losing. We've seen it before. I can see it happen again. And I think it's a good point. I think I'm going to take GSP just because he's so perfect.
Yeah.
And I love the guy. I won't be surprised at all if it's a devastating loss for him. If Thiago Alves wins, I will be pumped. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I will be pumped. But I'm just going to take GSP just because I feel like it's a pretty safe bet.
All right. Hey. I just tried to mix it up a little. I think GSP could very well take it.
Let's get into the big one. We got the big one now.
Heavyweights. We got Frank Mir versus Brock Lesnar.
Go for it.
Damn. All right. I think Mir's obviously the better fighter. Mm-hmm. But Lesnar's been improving every time he gets in the ring.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to get caught in a heel hook again. I think he's too big and too explosive. And I don't see Frank Mir guillotining him. And I don't see Frank Mir armbarring him. But I don't see Brock Lesnar winning the fight.
How about this? Do you see... You don't see any of those things happening. Do you see Frank Mir standing up and beating him up like he did in Nogueira? Can we see Brock Lesnar really get hit for the first, like really get beat up? Like he bled a little bit in the Couture fight. He got hit there. But can we see him really just get outboxed?
No, because he'll take it down right away.
Okay.
I think, obviously, Lesnar's the bigger, stronger guy, and he can hold him there. But like Frank Mir was saying, Mir just has to go 25 minutes. Lesnar, as soon as Lesnar makes a mistake, Mir could jump all over it.
We saw that in the first fight. He was going to stand up and let Mir up, and he left that foot out there, and he got caught, and it was over. But can he... I mean, we know how devastating jiu-jitsu is for a wrestler because they just don't understand the submissions quite as well. But does any of that matter if Brock Lesnar comes in and takes his back and pounds him, like just hits his head like he did against Heath Herring for 3 rounds?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I don't know. Lesnar could very well round out a decision. If it goes to the ground, I could see Mir shooting off all types of crazy submissions and Lesnar just powering out of him because he's so big. But then at the same time, guaranteed, Mir's been doing jiu-jitsu for how long?
Yeah.
How many times has he fought a guy Lesnar size? Probably a bunch of times. How many times has he tapped him out? Probably a bunch of times.
Not a lot of guys have gotten their black belt by snapping Tim Sylvia's arm.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I mean...
But then at the same time, Tim Sylvia's no Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but that just shows you that he didn't get to where he is, it wasn't a cakewalk. He had to really prove it.
And here's the fun thing. Frank Mir's been practicing his stand-up with Della Grotti in Boston.
And he looks good. We saw it in his last fight. He looked fucking great.
Yeah. So... I don't know. Here's how I picture the fight going. They're going to stand up. Mir's going to get the better of him, but Lesnar's not going to have it. He's going to take him down. He's going to pound and pound, 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 pound. I don't think he got that much better on the ground as a ground and pound fighter. Mir's going to ward off anything he has, keep it going, keep it going. As long as he doesn't get hurt, I think he'll pull off a submission. But it's going to have to be a heel hook. His arms are too big to do an armbar. His neck is too big to do a guillotine. Frank Mir's going to have to do something crazy with his legs.
Don't think he's going to take his back and rear naked choke Brock Lesnar. So I'm pretty sure it's going to have to be...
How sick would that be? Imagine him just jumping on his back.
It's going to have to be by the legs, some sort of like knee bar or leg lock or any kind of one of those things. Yeah. And I really don't think that he's going to make that kind of mistake again, and I don't think he's going to get that option again.
Yeah.
I just think that Brock Lesnar is too big, too strong. And
he's not a better fighter. He's just not going to get finished.
He's not too good, but for how big and how strong and how fast he is, he's good enough to knock it deep.
But then again, Frank Mir is 250 pounds.
Yeah.
And he is a big guy. He's a lot bigger than Couture is, so he might be just as big and strong as, Lesnar. I don't think so, but... I
honestly feel like for these 3 fights, for these 3 main event fights, it's all so close and so well matched up that, everything that we've said, I think it all kind of just goes out the window. It's like, hey, who the hell do you want to win the fight? Like, just pick who you want to win.
All right, so in that case, I'm going to have to go Mir.
You're taking Frank Mir.
I'm taking Frank Mir. I'm taking Frank Mir.
No more flukes. Brock Lesnar wins. He's the champ. That's all it is. That's all there is to it.
All right.